Hello, I'm Jackie Lockie and I'm the Head of Training for the AIC. In our short session today, we're going to cover the sources of data for researching investment companies. The learning objectives we're going to look at will include the criteria for due diligence of investment funds and looking at the type and sources of investment company data that may be useful for you when researching closed-ended investment companies. Firstly, there's something very important to think about. I urge you to clearly establish the criteria that you currently use to assess open-ended funds, and then look to add on additions that we're going to talk about here. This all needs to be discussed and set by your investment committee. There's lots of sources of data out there, so we're going to give you plenty of guidance on how to find appropriate data. So, provide a selection and due diligence. Things to think about, such as the manager, how long have they been in their post? The investment company itself, what is its investment objective? In your investment process, do you consider investment style? The management group reputation is very important. And also look at access to information. Can you get information from the management group and other sources easily? Looking at the structure of the product itself, a lot of this information can be found in the prospectus and fund fact sheets, particularly the gearing and its effects. Look at the performance, and does any particular investment you're looking at have a small or value tilt? So let's look at the types of data you might want to use. Firstly, asset allocation. Look at the asset allocation of the overall portfolio. And then look to the individual asset allocations of the various funds that you may want to use. Consider geographical and sector spread, investment objective, and the manager and the management group history and information. Net asset value and net asset value per share and the current share price are very important pieces of data. This leads us to the discount and premium. Consider the difference between the current share price per share and the net asset value per share. Is there a discount control policy in place? As far as gearing goes, look at the current rate of gearing and also the historic rates and the gearing range information. Performance. Now, there are a number of fund performance details worth looking at. Remember always to look at the total return for net asset value performance as well as share price past performance. Some people think that the net asset value performance is the actual performance of the underlying fund manager. If you look at total return performance, remember that if you compare to a benchmark, that should be total return data too. When looking at dividends, obviously yields are important, but also the dividend record. How many years has the investment company been paying a regular dividend? That's important as well. Costs. Costs are important because they drag performance back. So ongoing charges, you'll see that term now instead of total expense ratios, and also turnover inside the portfolio. As far as changes have gone on, have there been a replacement of the manager? If there has, how relevant is the past performance? It may be that the investment objective has changed. Liquidity. Look at the size of the trade that you want to place. Look at what time in the week you want to place the trade. And look at the AIC website for the daily trading volume data. So where do you compare open and closed-ended funds? Well, we here at the AIC commission independent quarterly research from Canaccord Genuity. And you can see here that the blue boxes show outperformance of closed-ended funds over their open-ended peers. So you can see that there's a very strong and compelling record for past performance of closed-ended funds. So think about the criteria that you're going to use to assess open-ended funds, and then use the additions that we've discussed here already. Set them all out in your investment committee and ensure that they are used as daily criteria for research purposes. So let's look at some of the various sources of data that there are out there. There's lots of information on the AIC website. Also, other places such as Morningstar and Financial Express offer comprehensive data systems. Other websites such as TrustNet, Citywire and QuoteData. QuoteData is a new firm and they offer lots of data and information, particularly about standard deviation. A good port of call is always the management group's own websites. You can see reports and accounts and fact sheets and access them via the AIC website, or you can go directly to the management group themselves. So in summary, we've looked at some of the criteria for due diligence when looking at investment funds. We've looked at the sources of investment company data and which sources are useful when researching closed-ended investment companies. Thank you for watching.